is ready.
I'm ready too.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And ready to go.
Very good. Well, then let's start. And if you don't mind, maybe Cesar could also say a couple words, but I wouldn't mind starting because Ricardo Vanella and I go, it feels like way back, and I guess it is way back. We've had just so many wonderful experiences. I told a story this morning in the newsletter also about an experience we had early in our relationship when he sent me a text message from Argentina telling me, why did you introduce me to these people? And I had made an introduction for him, which seemed like it was an obvious, easy one. And it was ultimately, but there were some challenges and difficulties that happened along the way, and we had to work it, as all of us know, doing business, period, but doing global business, it requires professionalism and perseverance and resilience and steadiness and capability and sometimes brilliance. And so I'm just so lucky, Ricardo, that I've had a chance to meet with you, pass through that experience and pass through many other experiences because you possess all of those characteristics and more. You're a great leader. We really enjoy working with you. You started out as the executive director of Buenos Aires for Global Chamber, along with many other things that you do, an extraordinary number of things. And now with Tierra del Fuego coming on, I still don't completely know how to pronounce Ushuaia, which I don't think is correct, but either
it's correct.
Anita.
It's correct.
Oh, okay. Well, very good. Thank you for your kindness.
It's a hard one.
And I honestly, it's one of those places like Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, that of all the like major capital cities that I've run into the last few years, I didn't know it, but oh my, do I know it now? And I'm just so pleased to learn more about Tierra del Fuego and what's happening at the end of the world. Cesar, before I turn it over to Ricardo, is there anything that you would like to say as we kick off this conversation about Argentina and about doing business at the end of the world?
Thank you, Doug, and thanks everyone, especially Ricardo, for always being there and helping. And I'm glad, from outside, seeing all the synergies that are happening in the Phoenix trade mission. That was great. And so nothing special and still a little bit voiceless. So I would just leave Ricardo and Anna to take over. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be, it's always a pleasure to be with Doug and Cesar and Global Chamber members. And with Anna, of course, she's amazing. And we are going to introduce you to some details about Tierra del Fuego, its capital Ushuaia, and some other cities. But before, let me say that Tierra del Fuego is the southernmost province of Argentina and the southernmost place in the world. And you have, I mean, just to have a concept of where it is located, Tierra del Fuego. You just think about when you think about Argentina, you have in the north, you never have summer. And when you think about the southernmost place of Argentina, in the north, you never have winter, and the south, you never have summer. They always have winter almost. I mean, the temperatures are very low, but you have a lot of seals and whales and elephant seals and penguins, a lot of penguins. You have natural gas, you have oil, you have sheep farming, ecotourism, you have, I mean, Ushuaia is the southernmost city in the world, and you have a lot of electronic companies that have been and that have established there because I mean a very important regime of tax exemptions that Anna is going to explain to us in a very detailed way. Of course, energy production is a crucial economic activity there. They have a lot of oil, as I said, and natural gas extraction, and they are working on a very important green hydrogen project right now. They are already producing it, and I mean it's just in front of Antarctica. Indeed, Antarctica, the piece of Antarctica that Argentina owes there, it's part of the province of Tierra del Fuego, which is a sort of Argentine Alaska, just to do something, I mean, that an analogy, just for you to understand. Tierra del Fuego, the main island, the surface is approximately the same as Bosnia and Herzegovina. And while Bosnia and Herzegovina, you know it very well, Sarajevo is the capital, they have approximately 3,200,000 people. But in Tierra del Fuego, they have less than 160,000-80,000 people. So there are a lot of land, there are a lot of possibilities. I mean, the views you have there is something unique. The landscapes are incredible, and the possibilities of business are very good. You have, just to close this introduction, you have there the Strait of Magellan, which is very, I mean, you know, the Strait of Magellan is a navigable sea road in separating the Pacific and the Atlantic oceans. But I mean, it's a natural channel. So you have one in Panama, which is not natural. They are working in Panama. They are building a huge one, a bigger one. But in the southernmost place of the world, of our hemisphere, you have a natural navigable road, as I said, between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The strait is approximately 570 kilometers, and it's I mean, from the year 1520, it was discovered, and it's there, and there are some navigation going on. And if you just consider today the complexity of the Red Sea and the Suez Channel, and all the complexity at the Panama Channel, well, and you consider the geostrategic and geopolitical context, I think that all that it's an addition of facts that are going in favor to Tierra del Fuego location and possibilities. I would like to pass the word to Anna Weinman. Anna is the executive director of an important chamber, which is the producers of electronic products in Argentina. Why? I mean, we're talking about Anna, and she's in Buenos Aires right now, but she's the executive director of the chamber. And why she's here? Well, one of the reasons of the many reasons why she's here is that almost all the guys producing electronics are in Tierra del Fuego. Why? Because they have a very special tax exemption regime. So it's very interesting because it's not only for electronics. So perhaps that's another additional reason to pay attention to that part of the world. Ana, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Ricardo, for the introduction. Well, since Ricardo explained recently, I'm the executive director of a chamber that gathers all the electronic industry settled in Tierra del Fuego. And just for you to picture where we are talking about, I will share with you a map of the province. Can you see it?
We can now, yep.
Okay, so that's Argentina, and the blue thing is the province, the whole province. As you can see, is not only the southernmost province of the country, but also the biggest province of the country, since it has Antarctica included and the other islands of the South Atlantic. So as Ricardo was explaining, Tierra del Fuego, it has the main island of Tierra del Fuego, the great island of Tierra del Fuego, which is that small triangle that you can see in the south of Argentina, and also Antarctica and the other islands of the South Atlantic. So it's a big continental province. It connects two oceans. It's a strategic location for the whole world, and it has uncountable natural resources, oil and gas, as Ricardo was explaining, but also fishing and aquaculture potential. It has a lot of special characteristics, and as Ricardo explained, it's always winter there. It has really hostile climate characteristics because it's really, really in the south. It's like Alaska or the Greenland in the north. So you can picture it. But as other things that I would like to explain, what's the main activities today in Tierra del Fuego? The name of the province is this one: Tierra del Fuego, Antarctica, and southern island of the Atlantic islands of the south. This is the name. So I will stop sharing because you have already seen where is this province. And now I would like to explain which are the main activities today in the island. The electronic industry is the main economic activity there, which I represent. The most important companies of the country are located there. They manufacture TV devices, cell phones, air conditioning units, and other things, but mostly those three. And they sell them in the country, in all of Argentina. The 90% of cell phones, TV sets, and air conditioning units sold in Argentina come from Tierra del Fuego. So it's a big business for the country. This electronic industry operates under an Industrial Promotion Act that Ricardo was explaining, which offers tax benefits. The extension of this regime, this special regime, it's until 2053. So we have 30 years or so, 28 years more of this special regime. This law that it was created in 1972 with the idea of getting the province that in that time it was not even a province, it was only a territory, and the island only had 13,000 people living there. So they needed to get it crowded. It never did, but we grew a lot since then. And now we are almost 2,000 people living in Tierra del Fuego. And the development of the economic industry is important since this act. Other main activities in Tierra del Fuego are tourism and oil and gas exploitation and exploration, both of them, and fishing. It's an important activity also. And you might ask, which are the opportunities that this province offers, because it has a lot of potential. Mostly logistics, because since it's an island, it's so far away from everything in the world. Well, it has really logistics needs. For example, it has two main cities. Ushuaia, as Doug was telling about, is the most the southernmost city in the world, and is the nearest one to the Antarctica, only 1,000 kilometers away from the Antarctica. And the other big city is Rio Grande, which the industries are located, because Ushuaia is mainly a tourism city, and Rio Grande is the industry city of the province, and it doesn't have a port, Rio Grande. One of the companies that it's in Afarte is going to build the port of Rio Grande, which will change the logistics of the island, but it will only be ready in 2026, we think. Which other opportunities are there? Well, services for the Antarctica. Most of the cruises going to the Antarctica stops in Ushuaia as the last stop in the continent, previously to go to the Antarctica, and it's really important to have services to provide to these cruises. For example, one of the other companies that represents that I represent is building food service for the cruises, a whole food service, breads, ready food, foods, seafood, everything to as a catering service for the cruises. Which other activities? Agroindustry. Since it's such an hostile province, and it's really difficult for the cold that's there, well, the agroindustry never developed really greatly. So now they are starting to develop this agroindustry. It has cattle, but not agro. So it's growing now. Other opportunities, for example, are aquaculture, the salmon industry, the seashell, other aquaculture opportunities. Green hydrogen that Ricardo mentioned recently is going to start in a while. All related to oil and gas industry also. It needs a lot of exploration there, and there are companies, international companies that are working there too. and renewable energies such as wind power, for example. Well, all the things related to tourism, more hotels, more services, more sea line boats and that kind of thing. So, well, this is what I wanted to tell you about Tierra del Fuego, and I'm open to questions if you have any.
Ana, could you explain a little bit more about the regime of tax exemptions?
Yes, of course. This is tax benefit law that, as I told you, it's going to be working or going on until 2053. It's really similar to other industrial promotion acts in the world. The most similar is in Manaus in Brazil. It includes other industries besides the electronic industry, such as plastic, chemistry, fishing, and textile industry. They all work there. They operate under this Industrial Promotion Act. The tax benefits that include are, for example, payment releases of value-added tax, income tax exemptions, reduction of internal tax, and the import duties exemption for the parts that you need to import to manufacture. So that's mainly what this law is about, and it's been going on since 1972. So I see that you are.
Yes,
asking-
hey, Anna, this is Pankaj
Yes.
Pramanik. I joined late, so I'm a global VC fund manager working for the global market, investment banker, venture capitalist. We are a long time joined, so please we'll talk offline. If you looking for funding, we are help funding. So we have tons of investor, so we can help you for funding, only for the funding part. Okay, please tell Seja to introduce you in the email, and we don't
Okay.
want to waste time. So we are a fund manager, we can help you funding.
Okay. Thank
Pankaj,
you very much.
sorry, I have a question for you. What kind of projects do you fund?
Any projects more than 100 million, no startup, no early stage. Our investor is Khosla Venture, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, as well as, like a Cornerstone Holding, all the big investor. And next week, I'm joining like a semi-waste. So we don't want to waste everyone's time. Better share your email ID. We will send you all the details, and then definitely we'll go for it.
Do you fund yourself, or do you
No,
find the fund?
I'm a fund manager. Our investor is funding. We are helping. We are the middleman guy. We help funding around the world.
Okay, could you please contact, I would like to contact you for many projects that could arise.
Yep, just share your email ID. Even less than 1 minute, you will get all the details.
My email is very easy. I am putting here in the chat.
Share your email ID. We will send you within next minute. You will send all the day. Okay, but you are sharing Gmail. I need a domain email.
Sorry?
Don't
We
worry
need a
about it. Let's
domain
keep
email.
moving.
Sorry.
Doug speaking.
His ability to fund big projects, and he does have experience with the semiconductor industry. So,
Hey, Doug, Cesar here. Your audio is not working properly, just in case.
Cesar,
Yes, Ricardo.
could you put us in contact with Pankaj?
I will.
Okay.
I will make the connection.
That's
Yeah,
it.
just keep
Okay.
keep moving with Anna and Ricardo. Any other questions? I see one from Santosh, and so if anyone wants to jump in and speak, that's fine too.
Excellent.
Santosh is
question
asking
overall.
about the transportation. If it's by boat, I see it here. How is the transportation facility inside the island?
I was reading the questions. The transportation in the island is by mostly by car, by big trucks.
I mean, yeah, it's ground transportation within
transportation.
the island. It's ground transportation, bus, cars, trucks. I mean, there's no trains almost. There are some trains, but only for specific tourist occasions. I mean, for touristic purpose. But the main transportation is ground transportation routes and I mean, as Anna was saying, I mean, cars, trucks, ground transportation. And from the continent, what we call the continent, the rest of the country, you can go. I mean, mainly we take the plane from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. Is a flight of 3 hours, Anna, approximately
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. And but you have boats, of course. There's plenty of boats, but I mean, as Anna mentioned, there is a huge industry of cruisers. There are 600 about cruise ships with plenty of tourists buying everything and consuming everything there, and each year. Think about that. It's there are ships of 2,000 or 3,000 people each, and now there's going to be a service of planes from flights from Tierra del Fuego to Antarctica for commercial and tourist purposes as well. So when you think about Tierra del Fuego, you have to think about islands, and so in the main island, ground transportation, but between islands, you have boats and flights.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was reading other questions. Indoor vertical farming is an option, actually. It's not developed yet, but I think it's gonna be an option. Not developed in great scale. I mean, it's an option. Seafood is actually one of the companies that I represent as a manufacturer, an electronic manufacturer, has also a unit of seafood fishing and exporting. It exports to 70 countries, one of the companies that I represent. It exports seafood, fishes, and fish wheat, fish processed. And it's really growing this market. Ecotourism seems ideal for Tierra del Fuego, yeah, but we will need more infrastructure for that, is mainly not in the cities, not in the big cities, but because we have a lot of land, but it doesn't have infrastructure, hotels, roads, etc.
There is infrastructure, as Anna said. You have infrastructure in the capital and in the main cities, but and there are some beautiful places, but tiny places. But yeah, ecotourism is a good business to do. There's Jacob writes, how are the local communities supported by the tourism? I would love to explore some micro. Yeah, that's a great idea, Jacob. That's a very great idea. I can connect you with the authorities to, yeah, that's a very good idea. I mean, microfinance approaches of folk in the formal economy, of small merchants, small business people. Yeah, that's a very good, and we have the contact. We can connect you with some guys there. I mean, at the provincial level or at the city level. I mean, both. Yeah, yeah.
Ricardo,
There is another.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
I just wanted to interrupt for a second. First of all, sorry for the problems with my microphone, but Anita Rodal has a question. She has her hand raised.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No worries.
That's okay. I'm learning. That's the whole point. Thank you so much. Couple questions. Because there's a guy that I follow on Instagram. He's normally located up at the base in Antarctica. And so I'm wondering, you guys are so close to Antarctica. I have a couple questions. Do you have the thing where it's most of the time night, and then you have a couple months where it's daylight the whole time, or do you have more of a normal daylight, nighttime thing
No,
up there?
in the main island of Tierra del Fuego, I don't know in Antarctica because I've never been there yet. But in the main island of Tierra del Fuego, now is the shortest daytime, and you have sunrise is at 10 a.m. and dusk is at 5 p.m. We have or 4 p.m. We have daytime, and in the summer you have long days, but you have nights of 6 hours.
I've been in summertime in Ushuaia, and I had 2 or 3 hours night. It was difficult to
Hard to
sleep. I
sleep.
mean, you have to close everything because I mean, you have light the whole day, but it's the opposite in winter. Nowadays we are experiencing huge winter. I mean, there's snow everywhere in our south. Of course, those who practice ski, they are super happy. A lot of people. You have to know that many Olympic teams and national teams from Europe, as Italy, Switzerland, France, and even from the US, they practice as the opposite season. They practice ski here now. So yeah, that's another industry, sport industry, of course.
Awesome.
I will
Okay,
send-
so it's really the distance from Antarctica evidently makes a huge difference. So that's very interesting. My other comment that I wanted to make is that so for anybody located in the US, in the EU, in Canada, or Mexico, if they are investing in Argentina, Tierra del Fuego, I can help with sending the currency and getting much better rates than your bank would do. So money goes further, and it helps when you're importing or supporting industry in another country.
Well, that's a very, very important contribution.
Yeah, I have my information in the chat.
Thank you. There was another question. Anita had a question. Okay. I would like to explore an agro industry. I mean, they have an agro industry. They have, as Anna said, in the south, we have some huge sheep production. But I mean, they are working on adapting some crops for I mean, think about huge winters. I mean, low temperatures. So they have to adapt they have to genetically modify some crops in order to for them to stand up, to support the temperatures. But still, they have some agri production, and they are working on what they call the food sovereignty. I mean, to be to consume their own products. Of course, they are very strong in some cold products, but they are working on be their own supplier. So everybody who have technology for cold weather, that would be very welcome.
Yes, and now they are starting to grow the livestock fodder, because in the past, the cattle didn't have enough food during the winter. So now they are starting to grow livestock fodder to feed the animals.
And supporting, aligned with what Ana said, you know that Argentina produces very good meat. So we remember that we have much more cows than inhabitants in our country. And yeah, that's that's a historical thing in our country. So, and they are doing a very good job in genetics for the cows in the south. And because of the weather, they don't have any disease, no diseases. I mean, when you eat something from Tierra del Fuego, you are eating something pure. I mean, the nature is unpolluted.
That means it's all organic?
Yeah, I mean, more than organic, it's supernatural. Nobody, I mean, it's like, do you believe in God? Or do you believe in nature? Whatever you believe, it was made or either by God, if you believe in God, or by nature itself, if you believe in nature. That, I mean, that's more than organic. It's pure.
So they don't use anything artificial, no
Nothing.
pesticides
No,
on the
nothing
feed.
touched it yet. Basically, nobody touched it yet.
Yeah, I think the temperature also helps the people to get disease free. The colder the place, the less diseases you catches.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's increased the lifespan.
Wow. Santosh, that's very interesting, and I would like to exchange some tea with you if it's possible.
Definitely, sir.
For sure, for sure. Let's do that.
Well, I think that, I mean, if you have to contact me, I have the contact with Ana. She's amazing. As I told you, I have the contact with, I mean, I'm the guy for Global Chamber here, so you can have my contacts through Doug and Cesar. I mean, just let me know. Just let me know.
Thank you, Ricardo. Does anybody have any additional questions?
Yes, I have one
Yeah,
question.
please go ahead, Ankit.
Can we have the actual requirement from there? Like they need something in this quantity and in that area, like that, so we can work it out collaboratively.
That's a
Such
very
as?
very sorry, Anna. That's a very precise question. Anna, you wanted to say something. Sorry, I
No,
interrupted.
I was asking Anki if it's in something in particular, in some sector or
Yeah,
region.
not in particular sector, but as we are talking about the whole sectors, all the sectors we are covering. So we can if we get the particular sector requirements, so we can try to fulfill it that. And if they are widely open for all the sectors, they are having some requirements from other sectors. So we will try to figure it out in that way. So that's how I am asking if there isn't a list of items or any something some requirements from there, so we can try it out collaboratively.
Ankit, I would say the first thing, I know people that are interested in building hotels.
Okay,
So funding for hotels, that could be a good idea. Funding
perfect.
hotels.
The
And
tourism having a good scope there.
and I mean, we are talking about a lot of tourists coming
Okay.
there. There are some different segments. There are, I mean, the highest segment, they go with their own airplanes, and
Right.
there is not a 6 stars hotel, for example.
No.
There is no a super high deluxe hotel, not in Ushuaia, which is the most important city, the capital. There's not. I mean, the most expensive hotel you have is $300-400 per day. So you don't have a $1,000-2,000. You have it, but in other places of the south of Argentina, like Bariloche, you don't have that in Tierra del Fuego. Tierra del Fuego is virgin, it's very virgin. So it's discovered, it's being discovered now, and it's going to play a very important role because of what's going on in the planet.
Right.
I mean, if you think that, for example, I myself, I would build shelters, very expensive shelters for rich people trying to have a place completely full of, I mean, complete and fully equipped to survive any global conflict. That would be a business to explore, but that demand requires huge investments, because each of those shelters could be 3-5 million, but you can sell them. I mean, that's one thing. For the common people, for ourselves, for the common people, we have the possibility to build some hotels, 4 stars hotels, 3 stars hotels. So we need funding there.
So who
And
are the main investors there? The government or the individuals?
individuals.
Individuals only. Okay. And how's the government support there?
I can you
So how's
expand
government
the
is
question?
supporting? The government is supportive there or not?
The government, the province government is really looking forward to receive investments from all over the world.
Basically,
And
they are
it's
looking for
really,
FDI.
I
Sorry?
had,
Basically, they are looking for FDIs, like foreign direct investments.
Yeah, they
yes,
are.
Okay.
they are. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the government, actually, and they are looking forward to innovate in many areas. And also, another thing that I was thinking about is that there is a housing problem also.
Okay.
And that's another thing to invest in housing, for example.
To support what Anna is saying, I think that if you have some technology for housing building with plaques supporting low temperatures and tough weather, that would be interesting too, to introduce to the, I mean, again, we have 3 government levels here: the national level, the provincial level, and the local level, at the city level. So the three of them could be interested in.
Okay,
Really?
got it.
And the other thing that I wanted to add is what Jacob said. I mean, small merchants, small business, small grants, small finance, that would be a small business finance. That would be a good idea as well, because again, the government at the three levels, they would be interested in hearing some proposals, of course.
Got it.
Good questions. And Ankit, let's follow up on your interest. And I pulled your email, so I'll send you an email here in a few minutes. Thank you for your interest.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much.
Have you been to Argentina yet?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. And you're in Pune, I think. Are you in Pune?
Yes, sir. I am in Pune.
Okay, very good. Thanks for joining today. Any other questions from anyone? We only have a few minutes left. Really good conversations. Yes.
I have a quick question. A lot of transitions going on in the government in Argentina. Every country has their issues. Do you find that it has helped or hurt? The new administration has been helpful or not so helpful in terms of furthering your goals in Tierra del Fuego?
Well, from a political point of view, you have that this is a federal country, a little bit like in the US, you know. You have a federal government, and then you have the state's government, the provincial governments. And in Tierra del Fuego, you have the provincial government is not necessarily aligned with the federal government, and the city government of Ushuaia, they have good relations with the provincial government, but they are not necessarily aligned neither. So what I suggest is if you have some business or idea, the best thing is to contact the Global Chamber, Doug, Cesar as well, both of them. And then we can work on specific projects, because, I don't think that government I don't think we have what in the military realm we call a decisive strike. Just one strike and that's it. We don't have that. We don't have that. So it's a process. We are in a process, but we are not Robinson Crusoe. So we are not isolated from the process of the world. And in the world, things are getting more and more complicated. So it's good sometimes to be far away from complications. And that's a very good place to be far away from complications.
Jacob is asking about education there. They have two universities, national universities, or province, one national university and another province university, state ones, both of them. And there are private schools also. And the universities are mainly dedicated to technology, since we have the technology industry there. We have the UTN, la Universidad Tecnológica Nacional, the technological university of Argentina. It has an office in both cities, in Ushuaia and in Rio Grande. And the University of Tierra del Fuego has more majors, but also orientated to technology.
Yeah, just to add something to what Anna said. I think that STEM is something required. I mean, all over the world is something required. And they are not highly super well equipped in STEM education. I think they have a lot of accountants, a lot of attorneys who are super super guys and super nice professions, but they don't have a strong STEM education. In my humble opinion, I think that could be a good thing to develop there.
That sounds good. I was inspired by the conversation, Ricardo, that you started with the Department of Agriculture when you were in Arizona, and Mr. Paul Brierly, who's the Director of Agriculture, and his help and offering of help and the collaboration at the university level in agriculture. And that brought up some really great opportunities, I thought. So hopefully, if there's any help you need in following up with that or anything I need to do to help with that, let me know.
Absolutely.
One other quick question for Anna. The way you mentioned what you said earlier, I had assumed you were in Tierra del Fuego, but are you in Buenos Aires, or do you cover the country? How does that work for you?
I work in Buenos Aires, but I go to Tierra del Fuego once a month.
Okay.
But the offices are here in Buenos Aires, mostly because in Argentina we have a saying that's God is everywhere, but if you will like to see him, you have to go to Buenos Aires.
I like it.
Can I give a plug for another amazing? I mean, there's so many things in Argentina that I love. They got the wine industry is amazing, but if you ever get a chance to go to Iguazu Falls, they got that at us. It's one of the most remarkable areas I've ever seen. It's spectacular.
Well,
yes, it is.
Yeah, that's Argentina. I mean, in the north, you have crocodiles, alligators, birds. You have, you have big monkeys. You have everything. It's very different to the south, where you have whales, penguins, sea elephants. I mean, that's Argentina, and that I think that applies to politics, to everything, even soccer. very different things. Very different things. In sports, we have soccer, but we have polo as well, and that's a very good business as well. Soccer is very popular for the basis of the pyramid, of the social pyramid, and polo is the opposite. I mean, you have the highest, the guys, they play with the King of England, of the British king, or the Prince of Jordan. And that's Argentina, a mix of things, and as long as you know how to navigate it, no problem at all. But you have to have somebody here. If I go to India, it's the same thing. India is a huge country. It's a big country, plenty of people. It's a complicated country because more than 50 languages. And if you don't have somebody local, you can get lost very quickly in India. So if I go to India, I call Santosh. If I go to Ankit, if I go to Sri Lanka, it's the same thing. Or Pankai. That's the way to do business. And I would like to, just to close, to retake something, to recuperate some words of our friend Doug Branke, that I think that he is really amazing, a great leader. And thank you very much for your leadership. Uniting the world, that's something that not everybody can do, and he does. Uniting the world. We need more Doug Brankies in our planet, and very quickly. We need them very quickly. But yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
thank you,
And
Ricardo.
oh,
The only reason why we can make progress is because of you and many of the people in the room. Jacob is a great example. Anita is a great example of people who are doers. And I think the other aspect of what you're saying is there's a lot of people who talk about stuff, but there's the doers. And at the end of the day, it takes action. We have to understand what to do. So we shouldn't just do stuff, but we should do smart stuff. So thank you for doing smart stuff. Anna, thank you with a heart and the work that you're doing. And I apologize that I hadn't circled back completely to like talk about our next steps in collaboration. So I'll do that this week so that we can talk about that, because I love what you're doing. I love the organization, and I felt very empowered to know that there's such a strong organization for the segment there. And also shout out to Jacob and Anita in particular for all the things that you do and for participating today.
Thank you.
Cesar, any final comments before we close the room?
As I'm new into this, this was my first meeting. So can somebody briefly explain what's Global Chamber is?
Yep, I'll follow up. I have a follow-up by email, but we're in 525 chapters around the world, and we make strategic connections for people to grow. Normally, that's by knowing a lot of people and understanding what people want and need, and we make a warm introduction by email, but we also do events. And so this is an example of an event that allows us to connect up in different ways. We're not an events organization, but we did over 600 events last year. It's one of the mechanisms that we get to know people, understand people, trust people. Today's newsletter was about trust. We do constant vetting of our members and people who want to be members, because you all know when you're out there in the world, it can be kind of scary in any country with people that you know or don't know. So we're working to find great people like Ricardo around the world, who's professional and ethical and honest and works hard and does the right things, and somebody that you can know and trust and count on. And that's really important in today's world. I agree with him. Sorry, Cesar, did you have any final comment before we close the room?
No, really, thank you very much, Ricardo and Anna. It's been great learning more. I just sent an email connecting some of the members that were here asking questions, because I know they want to follow up. So Ricardo, it's all in your inbox right now. So I look forward for the magic to continue, and let's keep conversation like this happening.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining,
Okay,
Ricardo
thank you
and
very
Anna.
much for listening.
Take care.
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good
Bye.
one. Bye.
Bye-bye.